In a far and peaceful land, where soft winds caressed the golden meadows and the trees whispered lullabies to the sky, lived a young and quiet soul named Eldrin. His home was a modest cottage on the edge of a small village called Leerwin, a place nestled beside the silverleaf forest, where the mornings were always painted in gold and the nights sang with crickets and owls. Eldrin was known among the villagers not for his strength or heroism, but for his softness and wonder. He was a dreamer who often watched the clouds drift lazily above as he lay on the grass, imagining stories hidden in their shapes. Still, a quiet longing pulsed in his heart, a yearning to explore beyond the hills, beyond the glade, into the hush of forgotten paths. Each morning, as the first light kissed the earth, Eldrin would visit the Adventurers Guild. It stood at the edge of the village, built of old stone and timber, draped in ivy and warmed by an ever-burning hearth. The guild was not a place of loud warriors or bold adventurers as told in songs, but one of silent seekers, scribes, and gentle rogues alike, all with different hopes, hidden truths, and dreams to follow. On one particularly quiet morning, when even the birdsong felt more hushed, Eldrin approached the quest board. There, among notices faded by sunlight and curled by time, he found a new parchment, unfamiliar, unblemished, tied with a single silvery thread. He untied it with delicate fingers. On it was written, "To whomever seeks the gentle calling of fate, follow the silken river beyond the eastern woods. Seek the whispering stone, and you shall be guided." Signed, the Archivist of Lysoria. The words pulsed gently in his heart, like the sound of a soft drum in the distance. He knew not who the archivist was, nor where Lysoria might lie, but the message spoke to something quiet and deep inside him, a voice that said, "This is the one." He packed only what was necessary: a satchel with a woolen cloak, a loaf of honey bread, a wooden flute, and a feathered quill left by his mother, once a scribe of old fairy tales. As he left the village, the sky turned a warm apricot hue, and the wind carried the delicate scent of lavender and cedar. Villagers watched him go with quiet nods. No words were needed. They knew Eldrin was not leaving because of danger or greed. He was following something ancient, something sacred. The world ahead opened softly. He followed the rising sun. His boots pressed gently against moss-lined paths, and birds followed above like watchers in the trees. Soon, the familiar meadows faded behind him, replaced with new sights: a field of moon-colored lilies, a silent grove of willows where blue butterflies danced, and a brook whose waters hummed a timeless tune. By nightfall, Eldrin reached the edge of the silverleaf forest's eastern border. The moonlight glimmered on the leaves, which shimmered like silver whispers in the dark. He knew legend said that no one who entered the eastern silverleaf came back unchanged. Yet there was no fear in his heart. There was peace. He laid his bedroll beside a crooked yew tree and played his wooden flute. The melody drifted upward like smoke, meeting the stars with conversation. Owls answered with distant hoots. Crickets conversed in soft tones. Even the forest seemed to listen. As sleep whispered to his eyelids, Eldrin held the parchment close to his chest, and a soft murmur danced in his mind. Seek the whispering stone. Somewhere beyond the trees, it awaited. So began his journey, not with thunder nor glory, but with the hush of leaves, the warmth of memory, and the soft rhythm of footsteps guided by wonder. Morning light filtered through the canopy of trees, gently waking Eldrin from a peaceful slumber. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and took a moment to gaze upon the world awakening around him. The forest was alive with a symphony of sounds, whispering winds, rustling leaves, and the distant trill of a songbird, all merging into a calming lullaby that made his heart swell with anticipation. After a quick breakfast of honey bread and a sip of cool brook water, Eldrin tucked the parchment securely in his satchel and rose to face the day. The path ahead, winding beneath ancient trees with thick trunks, beckoned him with a promise of adventure. Eldrin stepped carefully along the trail, his senses tuned to every sound and sight around him. He felt a profound connection to the forest, as though the very essence of the earth was intertwining with his spirit. Rays of sunlight danced on the dewdrops clinging to leaves, transforming them into jewels that shimmered in the soft morning glow. As he ventured deeper into the woods, the trees grew denser, and the air became rich with the earthy scent of pine and damp soil. Suddenly, he heard a rustling in the underbrush. Pausing, Eldrin turned to see a small creature scurrying into view, a curious, bright-eyed fox with a coat of cinnamon and white. The fox paused, tilting its head as if sizing him up, then darted away into the thicket. Eldrin smiled to himself. Such small wonders invigorated his spirit. He continued onward, allowing curiosity to guide him. Minutes turned to hours as he walked, losing track of time completely. Each step deepened his connection to this magical land, and in his heart, a warm glow of hope blossomed. As the sun reached its zenith, casting a golden hue across the foliage, Eldrin stumbled upon a clearing bathed in warm sunlight. At its center stood a magnificent stone adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to shimmer in the light. The Whispering Stone, just as the parchment had described. Eldrin stepped closer, feeling an inexplicable pull toward the ancient artifact. The stone was smooth and cool to the touch, with swirling symbols that seemed to come alive beneath his fingertips. A soft hum resonated from it, a melody that vibrated deep within his heart and filled his mind with whispers of forgotten tales. Suddenly, he felt the presence of others nearby. Turning slowly, he saw two figures emerging from the surrounding trees, an elegant, ethereal elf with long silvery hair and pointed ears, and a stout figure clad in leather armor, his beard braided and adorned with tiny gems. The elf's eyes sparkled like stars, while the dwarf exuded a hearty warmth, his laughter echoing like a comforting song. "Greetings, traveler," the elf said, her voice like a delicate chime. "I am Arya, guardian of the Whispering Forest." "And I be Boren, a humble guide to the lost," the dwarf chimed in, a wide grin spreading across his face. "And it looks like we've stumbled upon a brave soul in search of adventure." Eldrin felt a mixture of relief and excitement. "I'm Eldrin," he replied, a spark igniting within him. "I seek the Whispering Stone, as called by the archivist of Lysoria." Arya stepped forward, her gaze soft yet piercing. "You are wise to seek the stone. It holds secrets of old, and many have traveled far for its wisdom. But heed caution, dear one." She gestured around her. "The forest is teeming with magic and mystery, and the path ahead is not for the faint-hearted." Eldrin nodded, determination flooding him. "I am ready for whatever comes. I want to uncover the truth of my journey." "Then we shall embark together," Boren declared, slapping Eldrin on the back with a hearty laugh. "Two companions are better than one when wandering the unknown." Arya smiled at Eldrin. "Through friendship and trust, we will overcome the trials ahead. Let us discover what lies beyond." As they set off together, Eldrin felt an invigorating sense of camaraderie. Their laughter blended with the sounds of the forest, weaving a new melody, one of adventure and newfound friendship. The world of wonder awaited, hidden beyond the trees, filled with creatures and challenges only a brave heart would dare to face. And somewhere deep inside, Eldrin knew this journey would forever change him, revealing truths he had long yearned to uncover. The path was set, the adventure began, and together they marched toward destiny, the Whispering Stone guiding their way. As Eldrin, Arya, and Boren traveled deeper into the Silverleaf Forest, the atmosphere shifted, imbued with the essence of magic and ancient wisdom. The pathway beneath their feet was covered in soft moss, and the air was cool and fragrant with wildflowers. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, painting the ground in dappled patterns that danced like fairies. Eldrin felt a profound sense of belonging among his new companions. Arya moved with the grace of a whisper, while Boren's laughter echoed like the comforting sound of a far-off waterfall. Their spirits intertwined effortlessly as they shared stories and dreams, each step weaving a deeper bond between them. After walking for some time, the trio reached a small clearing where the air shimmered with enchantment. Standing in the center was an ancient tree, its bark gnarled and twisted, yet adorned with luminous flowers that glowed softly in the twilight. It was said that this tree was a conduit of knowledge, a guardian of secrets locked away in the heart of the forest. "This is the Elderwood," Arya explained, her voice gentle but filled with reverence. "It has witnessed the passage of time and holds the wisdom of our ancestors. We should seek its blessing before continuing our quest." As they approached the Elderwood, a soft, melodic hum filled the air, vibrating through the leaves and roots, enveloping them in a cocoon of serenity. Eldrin closed his eyes and felt the pulse of the tree resonate within him, grounding him in the moment. In that tranquil silence, a vision began to unfold behind his eyelids. He saw flickers of light and shadow, glimpses of a vast landscape filled with towering mountains, cascading waterfalls, and hidden valleys. At the center of it all was the Whispering Stone, radiating light and wisdom. Eldrin felt an urge to protect it, a calling as strong as the bond he shared with Arya and Boren. "Do you see it too?" Boren asked, his voice full of awe as he gazed at Eldrin's expression. "Yes," Eldrin replied, his heart racing. "I can feel the stone's energy. It's like it's alive, waiting for us to uncover its secrets." Arya nodded, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Then our fates are intertwined. We are destined to protect the Whispering Stone and whatever lies beyond." With newfound determination, they gathered around the Elderwood, placing their hands on its ancient bark. A warm glow enveloped them, filling the space with warmth and possibilities. They felt united, as though the tree recognized their shared purpose. As they stepped back, a path formed just beyond the clearing, illuminated by the glimmering lights of fireflies. It beckoned them forward. "The way is clear," Boren declared, his voice a blend of enthusiasm and bravery. "Let's see what awaits us, together." As they journeyed onward, the forest around them began to shift, revealing ancient ruins and hidden pathways. As they wandered deeper, new creatures made their presence known. Gentle deer with shimmering coats, wise owls perched high above, and sparkling sprites that flitted around playfully. The world was alive, brimming with magic. Suddenly, a sense of urgency filled the air as a low growl echoed from nearby. The trio halted, instinctively falling into a protective stance around each other. Emerging from the shadows was a creature of magnificent beauty and terror. A large, spectral wolf with glowing eyes and a translucent form. "Do not fear," came a deep rumble from the wolf, its voice resonating like distant thunder. "I am a guardian of this forest, watching over all who wander through its sacred lands." Eldrin took a deep breath, his heart steadying as he stepped forward. "We mean no harm. We seek the Whispering Stone, guided by fate." The spectral wolf studied them intently. "Your intentions are true, and your hearts are brave. Many have come seeking power, but few have sought wisdom. You may proceed, but heed this. Darkness lurks within these woods, drawn to the light you seek. Then we will be vigilant, Arya said, her determination glowing brighter than ever. Boren, ever the humorous one, added, "And if we encounter shadows, we'll simply shine brighter, eh?" With that, the wolf stepped aside, allowing the path to open. The trio felt a rush of hope. Together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead, bound by friendship and purpose. As they journeyed onward, Eldrin couldn't help but feel that this adventure was just beginning. The forest whispered secrets on the wind, and together they would unlock the mysteries of the Whispering Stone and beyond.
As Eldrin, Arya, and Boren continued deeper into the enchanting depths of the Silverleaf Forest, the atmosphere shifted once more. The air grew thick with ancient magic, and the vibrant hues of the leaves transformed into mesmerizing shades of emerald and sapphire, dazzling the senses. Sunlight streamed through the overhead boughs, casting flickering patterns that seemed to dance and play upon the forest floor. The trio was filled with a sense of wonder, but also a hint of trepidation, for they knew that the further they ventured, the closer they came to uncovering the secrets hidden within the heart of the woods. Eldrin held the parchment close, its call guiding him onward, whispering promises of discovery. "Do you feel that?" Eldrin asked, halting for a moment. He closed his eyes and focused, sensing the thrum of energy in the air. "The forest speaks," Arya murmured, her voice barely above a whisper as she closed her own eyes. "It tells stories of the past, of heroes and lost treasures. We must listen." Boren, ever the pragmatist, chuckled softly. "Well, I hope it doesn't start singing. I'd prefer to avoid a forest uprising." They laughed gently, the sound echoing softly through the trees. But as their mirth faded, a low, haunting whisper began to weave its way around them. It was a soft, melodic sound, like the lullaby of the wind, yet filled with an urgency that made the hairs on the back of Eldrin's neck stand on end. "Follow it," Boren said, taking a determined step forward. "There's something close by that may hold the answers we seek." With cautious steps, they followed the mysterious sound, winding through gnarled roots and twisting vines, until they reached a small clearing encircled by weeping willows. At the center was a crystalline pool of water, its surface shimmering under the gentle beams of sunlight filtering through the branches above. The soothing melody grew louder, filling the air with an ethereal resonance. Eldrin knelt by the pool, captivated by its beauty. The water appeared almost luminescent, reflecting the colors around it like liquid glass. As he gazed into the depths, he felt a pull, as if the water was beckoning him closer. What if we could see the history of the forest? Arya wondered aloud, her enchanting eyes wide with curiosity. What secrets might the pool reveal? Without hesitation, Eldrin dipped his fingers into the water. As he did, visions swirled within the pool's depths, images of ancient battles fought long ago, of friendship forged in the heat of conflict, and of dark shadows creeping into the light. He gasped as the whispers became clearer, forming words that resonated within his soul. "Guardians rise, and shadows fall. Seek the key to unity, for only through courage may darkness be turned to light." The vision faded, leaving Eldrin breathless. "We are meant to protect something greater," he whispered, realization washing over him. "These woods hold the key to balance between light and shadow." Boren nodded with resolute approval.
A balance we must restore then. Whatever is darkening the heart of this forest must be confronted. The air grew cooler as they exchanged glances, excitement brewing within their hearts. The path would not be easy, but they were determined to forge ahead together. United in purpose, they prepared to leave the serene clearing, when a sudden rustling from the thicket caught their attention. Before they could react, a creature emerged, a small fae, delicate and shimmering, with emerald wings that sparkled like dew in the morning sun. Its voice was a gentle chime, filled with urgency. You seek the whispering stone, but darkness looms nearby. The forest needs you, brave hearts, as does the balance of life itself. The shadow beast stirs, drawn by your light. Shadow beast? Eldrin echoed, worry knitting his brow. It seeks to extinguish your light and claim the whispering stone for itself. Your bond will be tested, but you must press on. Find the heart of the forest and restore what has been lost. The fae warned, hovering momentarily before darting back into the woods. With newfound resolve, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren shared glances filled with determination. The legend of the forest had intertwined with their own stories, and they would face the trials ahead together. United in purpose, they stepped into the unknown, and the whispers of the forest grew louder, and the shadows beckoned. Together, they would unravel the mysteries of the Silverleaf Forest and confront the darkness that threatened to consume all they held dear.
With the fae's warnings still echoing in their minds, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren pressed deeper into the heart of the Silverleaf Forest. The environment shifted gradually as they probed further. The air thickened with tension, each step feeling heavier as though the forest itself was aware of their quest. The once bright and vibrant hues around them faded into darker shades, shadows stretching ominously across the path. Eldrin felt a palpable sense of foreboding. Something lurked in the underbrush, watching them. His heart raced, not with fear, but with determination, knowing that they would face whatever awaited them together. "Keep your senses sharp," Arya advised, her keen emerald eyes scanning the surroundings. "The forest may unveil both its beauty and its darkness as we progress." Just as she spoke, a low growl resonated from the thickets ahead, sending a shiver down Eldrin's spine. The trio halted, eyes wide, as a shadowy figure emerged from the foliage. A massive, hulking shape with glistening eyes that bore a fierce glow in the dim light. It was the dreaded shadow beast, its form shifting and flickering, exuding an aura of menace and chaos. Boren stepped forward, gripping his axe, his expression one of fierce bravery. "We face this beast together. We won't let fear paralyze us." Eldrin felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him, but also a growing strength from his companions. "Together," he affirmed, determination igniting within him. "We will defend our light." As the creature lunged forward, Arya swiftly drew a crystalline dagger from her belt, its edge gleaming under the dimness. "I'll distract it. Eldrin, look for a way to weaken it." With agility, Arya darted toward the beast, her movements as fluid as water, drawing its attention. The shadow beast snared its eyes on her, letting out a ferocious roar that rattled the very leaves around them. Eldrin scanned their surroundings, seeking inspiration in the shadows. Suddenly, he recalled the words of the Elderwood, "Only through courage may darkness be turned to light." A surge of hope filled him, igniting a fire in his heart. He remembered the whispers of the pool, the stories of balance woven throughout the forest. "Boren, we need the light," he shouted. Instinctively, he reached for the wooden flute hanging from his satchel. "If we can channel our bond, we can create a beacon." Boren nodded vigorously. "I'll stand beside you.
Let's unite our spirits." As Eldrin raised the flute to his lips, he closed his eyes and recalled the melody that had once filled his heart with peace. Boren stood firm, wielding his axe, waiting for the right moment. Arya danced around the beast, agile and fierce, distracting it as she made small strikes that chipped away at its dark form. The moment felt electric as Eldrin played, the notes soaring through the air, intertwining with Boren's steady battle cry. The sound grew, enveloping the clearing in a warm glow, casting the shadows deeper and brighter. The shadow beast halted, confused, its glistening eyes flickering as the essence of their music wove a tapestry of light around it. With each note, Eldrin felt the bond among them strengthen, a united front against the encroaching darkness. "Now!" Eldrin shouted. Boren charged forward, swinging his axe in a wide arc, and Arya leapt into the fray, her dagger gleaming as she struck fiercely at the beast's core. The creature howled in fury, its form flickering wildly as it struggled against the light bursting from Eldrin's melody. The haunting whispers of the forest filled the air, urging them onward as they united in harmony, drawing strength from their shared mission. With one final triumphant note, a burst of radiant light surged to encapsulate the shadow beast, enveloping it in beams that sparked like the dawn breaking through night. The creature wailed one last time as it dissolved into shadows, retreating back into the dark void from whence it came. Panting and breathless, the trio stood together, hearts racing, the remnants of darkness dissipating into the soft, glowing mist that remained. "We did it!" Boren exclaimed, a grin spreading across his face. "That was brilliant!" Arya clapped Eldrin on the shoulder, pride shining in her eyes. "You channeled the essence of the forest. The light within guided us, Eldrin." Eldrin felt a warmth blossoming in his chest, a realization dawning that their unity had overcome the darkness. It was all of us together, the strength of our bond. The forest around them began to shimmer once more, the shadows retreating, revealing the vibrant life that thrived in Silverleaf. The whispers took on a new tone, a melody of gratitude echoing through the branches, soothing their weary spirits. As they moved forward, a sense of hope enveloped them, mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves. With every step, Eldrin felt a renewed purpose. You didn't need to face the shadows alone. Together, they would unravel the mysteries that unfolded before them and protect the ancient heart of the forest from any darkness. With the echoes of their victory still resounding in the air, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren pressed forward through the revitalized forest. The once menacing shadows had receded, replaced by the gentle glow of bioluminescent flowers and the cheerful melodies of birds returning to their nests. Hope hung in the air like a fragrant mist, filling their hearts with renewed resolve. As they continued on their path, Eldrin felt an unusual sense of purpose guiding him. It was as if the forest itself was leading them towards something monumental. He had always believed in the magic of this world, but now it felt more tangible than ever. "Something's different," Eldrin remarked softly, his voice barely above a whisper. "It feels as if the forest is alive, guiding us." Arya nodded, her eyes gleaming with understanding. "We are part of it, Eldrin. The connection we forged, not only with each other, but with this land, strengthens the bond. Listen closely. The forest has stories to tell." Boren, trudging with a merry spirit, chimed in, "Aye, let's hope it's stories of treasure and glory." Laughter erupted among them, lifting their spirits even higher as they wound through thick vines and towering trees. Suddenly, they stepped into a sunlit glade, where a gentle brook meandered through the lush greenery, its waters sparkling like diamonds. At the water's edge stood a magnificent figure, an ancient dryad, her form entwined with the very essence of nature. Leaves cascaded from her shoulders, and her eyes sparkled like emeralds, reflecting the sunlight that graced the earth. "Welcome, brave souls," she spoke, her voice low and resonant, rich with the wisdom of ages. "I am Silvara, guardian of these woods." Eldrin felt his heart race. Our journey has led us here, seeking the Whispering Stone and the secrets of this forest. Silvara nodded, her expression both solemn and welcoming. You have faced the darkness within and emerged victorious, but your true quest lies ahead. The Whispering Stone holds the key to maintaining the balance of light and shadow in our realm. You must understand its power and your bond with it. Arya stepped forward with determination. What must we do? The stone calls to those who are pure of heart. It requires more than just strength. It seeks understanding and acceptance of both light and darkness within oneself. To forge this connection, you must each confront your deepest fears. What if we fail? Boren asked, a hint of anxiety creeping into his brave demeanor. Fear can be transformed into strength, Silvara assured them. The echoes of your hearts will guide you. The path to the Whispering Stone lies beyond the Wind-Howl Cliff, an ancient place where the unseen converges. Eldrin felt a shiver run down his spine. Wind-Howl Cliff? He repeated, recalling tales of it whispered in the village back home, a place where many had sought answers, yet few returned unchanged. Yes, Silvara confirmed, her gaze unwavering. But know this, as you climb, the voices of your past will rise to challenge you. Stand firm and trust in the bond you share. Each step will lead you closer to your destiny. Feeling both nervous and empowered by Silvara's words, the trio exchanged determined glances. We'll face our fears together, Arya affirmed, a quiet strength emanating from her. With a nod of understanding, Eldrin added, Our friendship will guide us, no matter what we encounter. The Dryad offered a warm smile, and with a sweeping motion, she gestured toward the path leading from the glade. Then go forth. The forest will provide its protection. May your hearts remain true. As they journeyed toward the Wind-Howl Cliff, the shadows cast by the trees felt like guardians rather than threats. They knew that beneath the tranquility lay challenges they had never anticipated, yet they possessed an unwavering bond that would guide them through. Each step forward was a combination of anticipation and introspection. As the deeper they delved into the forest's heart, the more they understood themselves. Eldrin felt the whispers of the wind intertwining with his thoughts, urging him to let go of doubts and embrace his destiny. As twilight began to fall, casting a golden hue over the landscape, they approached the cliff. The towering rock face loomed above them, shrouded in mist and mystery. Every stone seemed to pulse with unspoken stories, and a fierce wind howled around them, as if the very air was alive with emotion. "Are we ready?" Boren asked, his voice steady, but with a hint of uncertainty. Eldrin took a deep breath and nodded. "We've come this far. Together, we'll face whatever lies ahead." With hearts full of hope and courage, the three of them began their ascent, resolute in their mission to uncover the secrets of the Whispering Stone, and in doing so, perhaps discover something profound about themselves along the way.
The ascent of Wind-Howl Cliff started with a gentle incline, but soon transformed into a steep and rugged path. Each step echoed with uncertainty, as shadows danced playfully along the rocks, teasing their resolve.
The wind howled around them, carrying with it a cacophony of whispered voices, echoes from the past that seemed to lift and twist around the trio like a thick fog. Eldrin led the way, his heart pounding but resolute. The weight of destiny pressed heavily upon him. With every handhold he grasped, he felt memories entwined with the stones, stories of past climbers who sought the same truths. He could almost hear their hopes and fears, drifting through the air like leaves caught in a storm. "Eldrin!" came Aria's voice, breaking through the whirlwind of whispers. "You okay back there?" Eldrin paused and took a deep breath, summoning his courage. "I'm fine, just getting used to the voices." "You'll find your own voice within them," Boren said encouragingly as he scaled the rocks beside him. "Remember, they're just echoes of those who came before us. This is our climb now." With Boren's words strengthening his resolve, they ascended higher, the path becoming even more treacherous. They maneuvered around jutting rocks and slippery ledges, each careful step a test of their endurance and trust in one another. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced from the mist, momentarily blocking their path. Shadows sprang forth, taking on vivid forms, figures that resembled people from their pasts, their faces both familiar and distant. The air thickened with tension as the echoes spoke in haunting rhythms. "Eldrin," a shadowy figure murmured, resembling a long-lost friend. "Why do you seek the truth? Would you not be happier in oblivion?" Eldrin felt a chill creep up his spine as doubt seeped into his heart. Was it easier to forget? To turn away from the burdens of destiny? He hesitated, the shadows tugging at his resolve. But then he remembered his village, the laughter of his loved ones, the warmth of home, and the promise of adventure that had ignited his spirit. "No!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the darkness. "I seek the light. I embrace my journey." With that declaration, he pressed on, the shadows retreating in response to the strength of his conviction. Aria and Boren stood beside him, their presence a comforting balm against the uncertainty. Each of them faced their own shadows as they climbed. They came upon twisted versions of themselves, doubts, fears, and moments of regret trying to pull them back into the depths. Aria faced an image of herself frozen in fear, avoiding the call to adventure. "You'll never belong," it whispered. "You're just a gentle elf lost among warriors." But Aria squared her shoulders, a new fire igniting within. "I am not defined by fear," she declared firmly. "I am a guardian of the light, and I choose my path." Boren, too, found himself confronted by his own shadow, an image of failure, moments of doubt from his past. "You are just a simple dwarf. You cannot stand among heroes," it hissed. With a roar that echoed like thunder, Boren shouted back, "I am more than my mistakes. I am proud of who I am, and I stand with my friends." As they trekked onward, the voices of the past began to fade, replaced by quiet acceptance and the intertwining of their spirits. The bond among them deepened with each challenge faced, each fear conquered. Finally, after what felt like hours of relentless climbing, they reached a flat ledge high above the forest floor. The view was breathtaking. Layers of lush green treetops rolled out beneath them, as clouds danced in the twilight sky, glowing with shades of pink and gold. In the center of the ledge stood the Whispering Stone, bathed in a warm, radiant light. The structure was larger and more magnificent than Eldrin had imagined, its surface glimmering with a myriad of colors, like a living tapestry. The very air around it felt charged, humming with ancient power. Eldrin's heart raced as they approached. "We're here," he breathed, wonder etched on his face. The stone pulsed as if in response to their presence, casting ripples of light across their faces. Eldrin stepped forward, feeling an overwhelming connection to its essence. "This is our moment," he said softly,
locking eyes with Arya and Boren. Together, they reached out toward the Whispering Stone, ready to uncover the truth that awaited them, both within the stone and themselves.
As the three companions stood before the Whispering Stone, a sense of reverence enveloped them. The air thrummed with anticipation, every heartbeat synchronized to the pulse of the stone. The radiant light washed over them, illuminating their faces and casting long shadows against the cliff's edge. Eldrin felt an odd mixture of trepidation and wonder. "What do we do now?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the very act of speaking could shatter the delicate magic surrounding them. "Place your hands upon it," Arya instructed, her gaze locked onto the stone. "We must join together, united in our intentions." With a deep breath, they stepped closer, each of them placing a hand on the cool, smooth surface of the Whispering Stone. The moment their skin made contact, a shock wave of energy surged through them, connecting their spirits and intertwining their destinies. They could feel the whispers of the stone, soft yet insistent, unraveling secrets of ages past. In that moment, visions burst forth from the stone, scenes of ancient battles, of unity and division, of heroes who rose in times of darkness. Eldrin felt an odd mixture of trepidation and wonder. He saw glimpses of his own village, the warm laughter and smiles of his friends and family. The peaceful life he had known suddenly felt both cherished and challenging, burdened with the knowledge of greater struggles festering in the shadows. "Allow your hearts to see," the Whispering Stone whispered, its voice a soft lullaby in the chaos of visions. Eldrin closed his eyes, surrendering to the flow of images. He felt a deep connection, an understanding of the delicate balance between light and dark. The stone was not just a tool for power, it represented a choice, a path to harmony among all beings. "Together, we can bring balance," Arya's voice resonated, drawing him from his reverie. "But first, we must understand what threatens that balance." Boren squeezed Eldrin's shoulder gently. "Look, mate, the stone shows us the source of the darkness." As they concentrated, a singular image emerged, stark against the vibrant colors, a vast abyss pulsating with dark energy, gnashing shadows fighting against the light. Within it, a figure loomed, a dark sorcerer with malevolent eyes, intent on seizing the Whispering Stone's power for destruction. "This darkness is relentless," Eldrin murmured, horror washing over him. "We must stop it before it consumes everything." Arya nodded, determination etched into her features. "The sorcerer seeks to chain the stone's light to wield it as a weapon. We cannot allow that to happen." The quest was never solely about the Whispering Stone. It's about protecting the heart of this land, our home, and everyone within it. As the visions faded, the energy of the stone flowed through them, and Eldrin felt a surge of strength and clarity. They had a purpose now, a calling that would not let them rest until the shadows were dispelled. Suddenly, the stone flared to life, projecting radiant beams of light into the sky, illuminating the surrounding cliffs like a beacon. The light enveloped them, guiding them toward their next challenge. "Follow the light," Arya called out, her spirit unyielding. As they descended from the cliff, the path beneath their feet seemed clearer than ever, pulsating with the warmth of newfound hope. They raced through the forest, adrenaline surging, hearts united by the intensity of their mission. The Whispering Stone had ignited a flame within them, one that pushed aside doubts and fears. "I can feel the sorcerer's presence," Eldrin exclaimed, his voice steady with purpose. "We're getting closer." The forest around them thrummed in response, the trees whispering encouragement. Eldrin felt the bond he shared with Arya and Boren tighten, each step forward fueled by friendship and the promise of light conquering darkness. Ahead,
The trees parted to reveal an ancient, crumbling fortress cloaked in shadow. Its presence loomed ominously against the twilight sky, an eerie silence draping it like a shroud. It was here that they would face the sorcerer, the embodiment of the darkness that threatened their world. Together, Eldrin said, locking eyes with his companions as they stood at the threshold. No matter what happens, we will not falter. We stand as one. With their hearts intertwined, the trio crossed the threshold, stepping into the fortress, ready to confront the shadows within and protect the light that had guided them thus far. The final confrontation awaited, and they were prepared to unlock the truth of their destinies.
As Eldrin, Arya, and Boren stepped into the shadowy confines of the ancient fortress, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The very walls seemed to vibrate with an ominous energy, whispering secrets of a past long forgotten. Shadows pooled and danced in the flickering torchlight, casting eerie shapes that moved like wraiths across the stone floors. Eldrin's heart pounded, but he felt a resolute calm settle over him. The bond with his companions was stronger than ever, and the light from the whispering stone pulsed within him, a constant reminder of their purpose. "We must stay focused," Arya urged, her eyes scanning the dimly lit corridor. "The sorcerer will sense our presence soon." Boren nodded, his expression a mix of determination and fearlessness. "Let's find this villain and protect the stone." They moved as one, treading carefully down the winding passageways, each turn bringing them closer to the heart of darkness. The fortress seemed to shift around them, as though it were alive, leading them through a labyrinth of corridors and echoing chambers. Suddenly a chill swept through the air, and an ominous waft echoed from the shadows ahead. It was cold, cruel, filled with malice and greed. Eldrin felt his skin prickle with unease. "Welcome, travelers," a voice boomed, reverberating off the stone walls. "You dared to challenge my dominion?" The trio halted, their eyes scanning the darkness for the source of the voice. A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, imposing sorcerer draped in dark robes that seemed to ripple with shadow. His eyes glowed an unnatural red, burning with a sinister light. "You seek to preserve the light," the sorcerer sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "But you cannot comprehend the power of the shadows. The whispering stone will be mine, and with it, this world will bow to me." Eldrin stood his ground, lifting his chin defiantly. "We won't let you twist its power for destruction. This forest, this land, and its people won't fall to darkness." With a flick of his hand, the sorcerer unleashed a wave of shadow, a swirling vortex of darkness that surged toward them, intent on consuming the light. "Then you shall meet your end." Arya stepped forward, raising her crystalline dagger, which glowed brilliantly with ethereal light. "We stand together," she declared, her voice clear and unwavering. Boren hefted his axe, his resolve shining like a beacon. "And we won't let you have your way, Shadowmonger." The battle commenced in a blaze of light and darkness. Eldrin felt the warmth of the whispering stone in his heart, guiding his movements as he joined his friends in combat. The chamber filled with blinding flashes of light and shadow, consuming everything in a storm of magic and energy. Eldrin played his flute, its melody weaving through the chaos, bolstering his friends and casting the darkness back. The notes intertwined with the hope and unity binding them, creating a barrier against the encroaching shadows. Arya and Boren fought valiantly beside him, each attacking with strength and precision. The sorcerer raged, unleashing torrents of dark energy in a futile attempt to break their spirit, yet the light they carried was unyielding. "Feel the weight of your own darkness," Arya cried, her dagger slicing through the air as she channeled the power of the forest around her. The light from her weapon burned with the brilliance of 1,000 stars, pushing the darkness back. Borin laughed, drawing further strength from their unity. "Your shadows will break before our resolve," he roared, his axe cleaving through the darkness, each strike a testament to his courage. The sorcerer screamed, his power wavered and shattered, crumbling under the force of their combined might. "No!" he cried, desperation undercutting his once imposing presence. Eldrin felt the shift, the turning of the tide within the battle, and he pressed forward, hand stretched toward the whispering stone resonating within him. "It's time to end this." Summoning all the strength and light within them, the trio combined their resolve into a final decisive strike. A surge of radiant energy burst forth, enveloping the sorcerer in a cocoon of light, dispelling the shadows and the darkness within him. With a final cry of defeat, the sorcerer collapsed, the shadows around him dissipating into the ether, swallowed by the very darkness he sought to command. As silence fell over the chamber, Eldrin, Arya, and Borin stood together, breathless but victorious. The air shimmered with a quiet peace. The burden of darkness lifted at last. "You did it," Arya whispered, turning to Eldrin with a profound gratitude. "No, we did it," Eldrin corrected, a smile spreading across his face. "Together." The light of the whispering stone pulsed in affirmation, the ancient artifact gleaming with a brilliance that filled the chamber, a testament to their courage and the strength of their bond. They had upheld their promise, protecting the balance and preserving the light for the world to come.
As the shadows melted away, leaving nothing but a serene silence, Eldrin, Arya, and Borin took a moment to absorb the gravity of their victory. The air in the ancient fortress felt lighter, the oppressive darkness dispelled. The whispering stone glowed steadily, its light a beacon of balance restored. Eldrin felt a warmth in his heart, a deep connection to the land and his companions. "We've done it," he said softly, savoring the quiet triumph of their achievement. "The balance is safe." Arya nodded, her face aglow with the light that filled the chamber. "The forest will heal, and its magic will flow freely again." Borin let out a hearty laugh, clapping Eldrin on the back with a cheer. "And we did it together. I knew we'd see it through." As they exited the fortress, the sky had begun to lighten, a gentle dawn breaking over the horizon. The forest around them shimmered with morning dew, the colors vibrant and renewed. Sunlight filtered through the trees, painting the path with golden warmth. The villagers awaited in the clearing, having sensed the change, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. Eldrin's heart swelled as he saw the smiles that greeted them, the knowledge that their home was safe from the encroaching darkness. Arya turned to Eldrin with a smile. "You've grown, Eldrin. I always believed you were destined for something great." Eldrin shook his head. Humility wrapped in his words. "It was the journey and the bonds we forged that made all the difference." The whispering stone, now resting at the heart of the village as a symbol of protection and unity, continued to radiate its soft light, a reminder of the balance they had struggled to protect. As the day warmed, Eldrin, Arya, and Borin wandered through the village, greeted by cheers and stories of hope kindled anew. The villagers gathered at the square, eager to hear the tale of their adventure and unity. Standing before them, Eldrin shared the journey, the challenges they faced, the revelations they uncovered, and the importance of strength found in unity. As he spoke, he realized that the adventure was not just about the whispering stone,
It was about embracing one's fears, finding strength in friendship, and believing in the light within. When evening fell, the village celebrated, a festival filled with laughter, music, and tales of courage kindled anew. The stars above twinkled like 1,000 eyes watching over them, whispering their approval as the villagers danced beneath their gaze. The music drifted through the night air. Eldrin sat beside the fire, a contented smile on his face. Arya and Borin joined him, their friendship solidified by shared trials and triumphs. Borin raised a mug in cheers to the light that guides us and the bonds we've forged. To unity and balance, Arya agreed, her eyes filled with warmth and gratitude. Eldrin lifted his own mug, heart swelling with the sense of home. To new beginnings, he said simply, knowing that this journey had marked the inception of a greater adventure in the story of his life. The night wore on, weaving its tapestry of dreams and memories, a comforting lullaby for the weary adventurers. The forest seemed to hum in tune, a gentle melody of acknowledgement for the peace restored. As dawn broke the next day, Eldrin was awoken by the first rays of sunlight kissing the land. Stepping outside, he felt an invigorating breeze, a whisper of promises to be explored, and a reminder that there would always be adventures waiting, paths unknown, and stories unwritten. Standing there, surrounded by friends and the vibrant land they had fought to protect, he understood the whisper of destiny was a song of choice, a promise to weave light and hope into the fabric of every step taken, and with that truth held close, the whispering stone continued to shine softly, a testament to the enduring strength of friendship, courage, and the power of standing together in the light.
The morning sun bathed the village in golden light as Eldrin, Arya, and Borin prepared to seek out the Council of Elders. The ancient stone structure where the council met stood at the heart of the village, its walls adorned with engravings that told tales of heroes past and the magic of the land. As they approached, the villagers offered them warm smiles and nods of appreciation. The elders, wise figures with weathered faces and eyes that sparkled with knowledge, awaited them inside. Eldrin felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness, but he knew this was the right step to take. "Welcome, brave adventurers," the head elder, a tall man with a long white beard, greeted them. His voice was deep and steady, resonating as if it held an age-old wisdom. "We've heard whispers of your triumphant battle against the darkness. Now we seek your insights as well." "We need your guidance," Eldrin replied, stepping forward. "Our victory is but the beginning. We sensed a greater threat while confronting the sorcerer, and we need to know how to protect our land." The elders exchanged glances, their expressions turning serious. "The balance has shifted," said another elder, a woman with eyes like molten gold. "The sorcerer sought to unleash dark forces upon the realm. We fear he is not alone. Shadows linger, and whispers of an ancient artifact have surfaced." Borin raised an eyebrow. "An artifact? What can it do?" "The artifact is said to embody the pure essence of balance. It has the power to restore harmony, but is hidden deep within the misty mountains, where many dangers lie." Eldrin felt a pull toward this quest. "We must find it," he declared. "Can you guide us?" "Your path will not be easy. The mountains are guarded by powerful spirits and ancient traps," the elder warned. "You must solve riddles and face the trials of your hearts. Only then can you secure the artifact." "Then we're ready," Arya affirmed, her voice steady. Together we can face any challenge. With solemn nods, the elders provided them with a map detailing their journey to the Misty Mountains. They outlined the route, marking locations of interest and warnings about the areas known for mischief and trickery. Seek the guardian of secrets, the elder woman advised, her voice filled with urgency. The guardian will demand a riddle that tests your wisdom and bonds. Only those who listen to the truth hidden within their hearts will prevail. As they stepped outside, the sun shone brighter, illuminating their determined faces. Armed with knowledge and the elder's blessing, the trio set off towards the Misty Mountains, their spirits bolstered by the quest ahead. The trek began along winding paths flanked by lush foliage, the sounds of nature enveloping them in a comforting embrace. They shared stories, laughter, and the warmth of companionship, steadily covering ground. As the day waned, the mountains loomed closer, their majestic peaks piercing the sky. However, the air grew chilly, hinting at the unknown challenges that awaited them. "We should camp here for the night," Eldrin suggested, when they reached a small clearing. "We need our strength for the journey ahead." As they settled down, the stars began to twinkle overhead, and a sense of peace enveloped them. Eldrin took out his wooden flute and played a soft melody, the notes blending with the sounds of the forest. It was a reminder of the bonds they had forged and the journey that lay before them. As they shared stories of their lives prior to the adventure, Eldrin reflected on how far they had come. Each moment, each fear conquered, had brought them to this point, and a deep sense of gratitude washed over him. With a final sigh, they lay under the starlit sky, feeling the weight of the impending challenge, yet also the thrill of the unknown ahead. The next day, they would delve into the Misty Mountains, seeking the guardian of secrets and the artifact that might secure peace for their realm. Little did they know that the bonds of friendship would be tested in ways they had never imagined.
With the sun rising brightly on the horizon, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren prepared to embark on their journey to the Misty Mountains. Armed with the map provided by the Council of Elders, they set out with hope and determination coursing through their veins. The air was crisp as they began their trek, and the path led them through dense forests and rolling hills, the day alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and chirping birds. Eldrin felt invigorated, the anticipation of adventure lighting a fire within him. As they drew closer to the mountains, the landscape began to shift. The gentle terrain transformed into steep inclines and rocky outcrops, and the cool breezes turned into gusts that chilled their bones. The peaks loomed high above, shrouded in mist, casting a mystical aura over the area. "Are we sure we've packed enough for this climb?" Boren asked as he adjusted the straps on his hefty backpack. "Trust in our preparation," Arya replied confidently, her eyes glinting with determination. "We have each other. That is enough." Just as they reached the foot of the mountains, a low rumble echoed from above, causing the ground beneath their feet to shake gently. Eldrin exchanged concerned glances with his friends. "What was that?" Eldrin inquired, apprehensively looking up at the misty heights. "Merely the mountains speaking," Boren shrugged, attempting to lighten the atmosphere. "Or perhaps a warning for anyone foolish enough to climb." The path led them toward a narrow gorge, lined with jagged stones on either side. Shadows shifted ominously, dancing eerily as they ventured deeper, the mist swirling around like fingers beckoning them forward. "Stay close," Arya cautioned, her instincts kicking in. "These mountains are said to guard secrets, but they can also deceive. Navigating the gorge tested their agility and resolve. Each step required careful balance, and when the path grew even narrower, Eldrin felt the rush of uncertainty. He reached for Arya's hand, grounding himself in her presence. "Together," he whispered, drawing strength from their unbreakable bond. They finally emerged from the gorge, stepping onto a plateau that overlooked breathtaking vistas. Vast valleys stretched below them, cloaked in vibrant greens and grays, while the peaks of the misty mountains soared majestically. "This is incredible," Eldrin exclaimed, awestruck by the beauty surrounding them. "But it feels quiet." Suddenly, an electrifying crack filled the air, and a chilling wind swept through the plateau, swirling around them, pulling at their clothes. The shadows deepened, gathering at the mountain's base. "Maybe a little too quiet," Boren whispered, his earlier bravado faltering as he tightened his grip on his axe. "Focus," Arya urged, her gaze steady. "The guardian of secrets lies ahead. We must remain vigilant." Eldrin led the way, heart beating in rhythm to the energy around him. They followed the path upward, the air growing cooler with every step, until they reached a vast expanse adorned with ancient ruins, weathered by time. In the midst of the ruins, they spotted a figure seated upon a stone throne, an ethereal being adorned in flowing robes made from leaves and vines, with an aura of wisdom and age, the guardian of secrets. "Welcome, seekers of truth. You have braved the mountains and faced the shadows of your hearts. Now present yourselves and prove your worth." Eldrin stepped forward, adrenaline coursing through him. "We seek the artifact that embodies the essence of balance. We want to protect our home and restore peace." The Guardian's eyes glimmered with understanding, yet a hint of challenge danced within. "To earn the right to wield that power, you must solve the riddle of the mountains. Only those who see the truth will prevail." With that, silence fell over the ruins as the Guardian waited patiently, the mountains holding their breath as if eager to hear the riddle yet to be unveiled. Eldrin's heart raced. This was their moment, and they had come too far to falter now.
Eldrin stood before the Guardian of Secrets, a mixture of awe and anticipation settling in his heart. The ancient being had an aura of timeless wisdom, and her presence commanded respect. Arya and Boren flanked him, their shared resolve radiating like a beacon. "Speak your riddle, Guardian," Eldrin said, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The Guardian smiled gently, her expression a blend of kindness and gravitas. "Very well. Listen closely, for the path to truth reveals itself to those who truly seek it." With a graceful wave of her hand, she conjured a swirl of shimmering light, forming the words in the air as if crafted from starlight. "I am not a living thing, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" The air fell silent, the weight of the riddle filling the space around them. Eldrin could feel the intensity of the moment. The riddle was not merely a test of intellect, but a reflection of their inner truths. Arya furrowed her brow, deep in thought. "It sounds like fire," she finally mused. "Fire does grow," Boren chimed in, nodding vigorously, "and it needs oxygen to burn. But of course, too much water extinguishes it." Eldrin considered the implications of the answer. But what does fire represent? It's not just about destruction. It also symbolizes warmth, transformation, and rebirth. "True," Arya added, her voice thoughtful, "but we must be sure." Guardian, we believe the answer is fire, Eldrin called, his voice ringing with confidence. It represents both life and death, which are essential to the balance of nature. The Guardian's eyes sparkled, reflecting the flames of understanding. Fire is indeed the essence of transformation, and you have spoken your truth well. With that affirmation, the swirling lights coalesced into a radiant flame, hovering before them. It flickered gently, illuminating the ruins in a warm golden glow. Glance beyond mere words to find deeper meanings, the Guardian instructed, her voice melodic. You have unlocked the first secret of the mountains. As guardians of the light, you must now listen to the whispers of the wind. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the ruins, swirling around them, carrying fragmented sounds and echoes of voices lost to time. Eldrin closed his eyes, allowing the whispers to wash over him. Listen closely, he breathed, opening himself to the magic surrounding them. In moments, he began to discern words between the whispers, tales of lost travelers, ancient bonds forged in the fires of adversity, and lessons learned through sacrifice and bravery. Understanding requires not just hearing, but feeling, Arya whispered, her eyes sparkling with realization. We need to embrace these stories as part of our journey. Boren nodded, his expression firm. Then we must honor those who have walked before us. They are our foundation. You are correct, brave hearts. In acknowledging the shadows of the past, you empower the brightness of the future. Now you must face your next challenge to earn the path to the artifact. With a flourish, she raised her hands, and a new riddle materialized in shimmering light. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I? Eldrin's heart raced as they prepared to tackle this new challenge. The stakes felt higher now, the journey revealing deeper layers of strength and wisdom within them. Come now, let us ponder this one together, Boren exclaimed, his excitement bubbling up. What say you, friends? The three huddled close, sharing ideas and probing the essence of the riddle, each word leading them further into the quest of their hearts.
Eldrin, Arya, and Boren huddled together in the softly glowing ruins, the guardian of secrets watching over them with a benevolent gaze. The riddle danced in the air, each word shimmering with potential meaning. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I? Eldrin repeated, deep in thought. What could fit all those descriptions? Arya pondered. A joke could be cracked and told, but I'm not sure how it can be played. Could it be a game? Boren suggested, scratching his chin as he surveyed the ruins. You can play games, make them, crack jokes during them, but what else? Eldrin felt a flicker of inspiration ignite within him. What if it's a story? Stories can be told, made, and sometimes even played out in performances. Yes, Arya's eyes lit up. But stories can be cracked open like a shell to reveal deeper truths, layers of meaning. The Guardian of Secrets smiled, nodding in approval. You understand well, brave souls. Truth lies within tales, and they bind the fabric of our existence. A shared understanding bloomed among them. We believe the answer is a story, Eldrin declared confidently, grounding himself in their collective insight. As the words hung in the air, the Guardian nodded, a wave of shimmering brilliance enveloping them. You have unveiled the second secret of the mountains. With that, the light transformed into a flickering glow, revealing an ancient tome that appeared before them. The Guardian gently placed the book into Eldrin's hands. This tome carries the lore of your ancestors. Inside, you will find tales that connect your past to the future. Knowledge is power, and you'll need it for the challenges ahead. Eldrin accepted the tome reverently, feeling the weight of history within its pages. Thank you, Guardian, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. We will cherish this wisdom. Boren glanced at the tome, his eyebrows raised in curiosity. What do you think is in it? Stories, lessons,
perhaps even guidance we will need as we venture forward. The guardian smiled kindly. Your next challenge awaits. To claim the artifact, you must face the shadows of your past, the fears and regrets that dwell within you. Only by confronting them can you truly earn the balance that you seek. As she spoke, a cool breeze swept through the ruins, swirling around Eldrin, Arya, and Boren, pulling them into a vision. Eldrin's surroundings shifted, transforming the ruins into a vivid tapestry of memories, a swirling vortex of sights and sounds beckoning him. Do not fear what lies within your hearts. Face your shadows. Only then can you continue. Eldrin's mind raced as he felt fragments of his past rise before him. He saw the faces of childhood friends, laughter echoing in sunlit fields. But then the visions turned darker. Memories of loss, self-doubt, and moments where he felt insignificant. The shadows loomed large, whispering doubts that clawed at his spirit. Eldrin, a voice echoed, one he recognized all too well. You're destined for nothing great. You'll never be as brave as the heroes of old. No, Eldrin exclaimed, shaking his head. I am more than my doubts. At that moment, Arya stepped forward, her own shadows taking form. I've felt the weight of expectations, fears of failure gripping at my heart, but I'm not defined by those fears. Boren stood resolute beside them, his past flickering before him, moments of shame and mistakes made. None of us are perfect. What matters is how we rise after we fall. With their shared strength, they faced their shadows, allowing the warmth of their friendship to fill the void created by doubt. The overwhelming darkness began to recede, revealing the light of their shared bonds. Together, they declared, "We will face our fears and rise as one." The shadows dissipated into vibrant colors, swirling around them, merging into a tapestry of light that filled the ruins. The guardian smiled proudly, witnessing their courage. Having confronted your shadows, you now hold the wisdom of your past and the power of unity. The way to the artifact lies open before you. As they regained their senses, the ancient ruins pulsed with energy, guiding them toward an opening that led deeper into the heart of the misty mountains. Eldrin clutched the tome tightly, feeling the weight of a legacy passed down through generations. "Let's move forward," he said, determination lighting his eyes. "There's more to discover, and we're stronger together." As they ventured onward, Eldrin could sense the presence of something ancient and powerful waiting for them, a promise of balance that they were destined to fulfill.
With the knowledge of their ancestors in hand and the light of unity guiding them, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren ventured deeper into the misty mountains. The air grew cooler, charged with ancient magic, as they moved toward a cavern opening outlined by luminescent vines. "This must be the way," Eldrin said, feeling the pull of destiny heighten. The map affixed to his mind from the council had hinted at a hidden chamber within the mountain. As they entered the cave, glowing crystals illuminated the walls, casting dazzling patterns of light and shadow. The atmosphere was thick with an earthy scent, reminiscent of damp soil and rich minerals, a comforting welcome as they delved deeper. "Be alert," Arya cautioned, her voice echoing softly against the rocky walls. Legends spoke of traps guarding the artifact. Boren nodded, eyes scanning their surroundings with a hint of excitement. "Let them see what we can do." As they progressed, the cavern opened into a larger chamber, revealing ancient glyphs etched onto the stone floor and walls, symbols of protection, wisdom, and magic inscribed by those who had come before them. In the center stood a pedestal adorned with intricate carvings. The artifact was close. Eldrin felt his heart race. A palpable energy pulsed from the pedestal, calling to him. "Look at those markings," Arya whispered, kneeling to inspect them. "They seem to tell a story." Eldrin joined her, tracing the symbols with his finger. "They describe a journey, sacrifice, courage, and unity against darkness. It mirrors our own." Suddenly, an eerie silence enveloped the chamber as the ground trembled beneath their feet.
"What was that?" Boren exclaimed, gripping his axe tightly. Before they could react, shadows surged from the walls, materializing into dark creatures, their eyes glowing with hunger. They hissed and slithered toward the trio. Eldrin called out, "We must defend ourselves, together." With a swift motion, they positioned themselves back to back, ready to fight. Eldrin played a melody on his wooden flute, its notes weaving through the air, creating a protective barrier of light around them. Arya drew her crystalline dagger, her movements fluid and measured, while Boren swung his axe, cleaving through the shadows with a fierce roar, his laughter cutting through the fear. "You think you can conquer the darkness?" a raspy voice taunted from the shadows, rising above the chaos. "You are but a flicker of light in an ocean of despair." "Not for long," Eldrin shouted back, pouring every ounce of courage into his music. The protective barrier radiated, growing stronger, pushing back the shadows that dared to approach. As they continued to fend off the dark creatures, Eldrin remembered the tome he carried. "We need to harness the stories, the power of those who came before us." "Use the teachings," Boren encouraged, adrenaline heightening his spirit. "Let the strength of our ancestors guide us." Nodding firmly, Eldrin called upon the wisdom of the tome, allowing the messages of courage and unity to fuel their fight. The light from the tome and the melody from his flute merged, creating a blinding wave that surged forward, engulfing the dark creatures. The shadows shrieked, retreating against the onslaught of light, dissolving into wisps of smoke that vanished into the air. The cavern fell silent once more, the protective energy keeping them safe. Panting, they stepped back, hearts racing from the conflict. Boren let out a triumphant laugh. "That was a right good tussle, but I think we outshone them in the end." Arya turned to the pedestal, her eyes wide with wonder. "We protected the chamber. Now, let's claim the artifact." With cautious steps, they approached the pedestal, the glow intensifying as they neared. Eldrin reached out with trembling hands, feeling the hum of magic surrounding the artifact. It was a radiant sphere, pulsating with energy that seemed to resonate with their very souls. "This is it," he said softly, awe coloring his voice. "The key to restoring balance." As Eldrin lifted the artifact from the pedestal, a wave of warmth enveloped them, igniting a light that filled the chamber. They could feel the power of balance surge through them, embracing their spirits and intertwining with their hearts. "Now we must decide how we will use it," Arya said, looking at Eldrin with expectation. Boren grinned widely, excitement radiating off him. "There's no doubt we'll protect our home and ensure the darkness never rises again." But in the back of Eldrin's mind, a voice echoed, "Eldrin, the path of destiny is shaped by the choices you make. How will you wield this power?" With the artifact in hand and their bond strong, they prepared to confront the trials that awaited them, knowing that their choices would shape not only their future, but the fate of the realm.
The chamber still hummed with the energy of the newly acquired artifact, radiating warmth and power. Eldrin, Arya, and Boren stood resolute, ready to harness that energy against the shadows that had threatened to consume them. "Whatever comes next, remember our bond," Eldrin said firmly, gripping the artifact tightly. "Together we are stronger." As if in response, the chamber darkened once more, and the remnants of the dark creatures began to swirl around them, reforming into a mass of shadowy tendrils that threatened to engulf the light they had just conjured. The air grew thick with malevolence, and Eldrin felt an icy chill cut through the warmth of the artifact. "We won't let you take our light," Arya declared, brandishing her dagger, the blade catching the faint glow. With a roar, Boren charged at the swirling shadows, his axe swinging through the air. "Let's show these beasts what we're made of."
Eldrin raised the artifact above his head, channeling its energy. Together, we draw our strength from one another. As he played the melody from his flute, the notes intertwined with the artifact's glow, creating a radiant burst of light that pushed back the creeping shadows. The light was warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the chilling darkness that surrounded them. The shadows writhed and slashed at the light, trying to snuff it out, but the trio stood firm, their resolve unwavering. "Keep pressing forward," Arya shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. Eldrin felt the power of their friendship wrapping around him like armor. The artifact hummed in connection with their hearts, amplifying their energy. "We are the guardians of this light," he proclaimed, feeling the pulse of responsibility drive him forward. Suddenly, a massive shadow emerged from the depths, taking on a fearsome form. A dark creature, larger than any they had faced, its eyes glowing like molten coals. The atmosphere shifted. It was a manifestation of their doubts and fears combined. "This is it," Borin shouted, readying himself for the fight. "Together, we take it down." With a fierce battle cry, they charged, each determined to prove that light could triumph over darkness. Arya darted to the side, expertly avoiding strikes, while Borin swung his axe with formidable might. Eldrin played a melody filled with hope, the notes dancing through the air and invigorating their spirits. "Stand your ground," Eldrin shouted, pouring his heart into the music. "We won't falter." As the shadows lunged, Eldrin raised the artifact high, its light bursting forth in a radiant arc. The shadows shrieked, recoiling as the warm light engulfed them, illuminating the cavern with brilliant hues. In that moment, the towering shadow creature lunged, attempting to snuff out the light, but Eldrin felt the surge of strength from his companions. "Together!" he yelled one last time. Drawing on every ounce of their combined magic and spirit, they unleashed a final crescendo, a triumphant symphony of light that shattered the darkness once and for all. A radiant explosion filled the chamber, cascading waves of warmth and energy that pushed back the shadows into the void. As the echoes of the battle faded, silence enveloped the cavern. The remains of darkness melted away, leaving only the soft glow of the artifact in their hands. Breathless and victorious, Eldrin, Arya, and Borin stood together amidst the shimmering light, their hearts racing with adrenaline and relief. "We did it," Eldrin whispered, disbelief weaving through his voice. "Yes!" Borin roared, pumping his fist into the air. "And we did it together." Arya smiled, the light reflecting in her eyes. "Now we need to protect this artifact and use its power wisely. The shadow may be defeated, but we must ensure it never returns." Eldrin nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "Let's take the artifact back and share its power with the village. We must stand united and vigilant against any darkness that threatens our home." With renewed purpose, the trio turned to leave the cavern, the light guiding their way. They had faced their fears and fought valiantly against the darkness, but the journey was far from over. Together, they would ensure that the legacy of light continued to shine brightly even in the depths of despair.
With the echoes of their victory lingering in the air, Eldrin, Arya, and Borin made their way back through the winding paths of the cavern. The artifact pulsed softly in Eldrin's grasp, its energy warming his palm and guiding their steps. As they neared the entrance, sunlight burst into the chamber, filtering through the vines and illuminating the path ahead. Eldrin felt an overwhelming sense of purpose, infused with the stories of the past and the memories they had shared. "What do you think the artifact truly can do?" Arya asked, glancing at Eldrin. "And how do we wield it responsibly?" Eldrin rubbed the artifact's surface, its glow reflecting in his eyes. The Council of Elders spoke of balance, the need to protect and maintain harmony in our world. We must learn to channel its power to defend against any future threats.
Stepping into the open air, the crisp breeze filled their lungs, invigorating them after the darkness of the cavern. The view of the misty mountains sprawled before them, majestic and solemn, as if guarding the secrets hidden within. "First, we need to return to the village," Boren announced, readying his axe. "The people need to know that peace is secure, but they should also be prepared for what may come." As they made their way down the mountainside, Eldrin felt a sense of impending revelation. He opened the ancient tome, now resting securely on his belt, its pages filled with wisdom. The light from the artifact began to dance along the edges, revealing hidden text and illustrations. "Look," Eldrin proclaimed, pointing at the pages. "The stories are coming to life. There's a map here, locations of other artifacts, places where darkness is said to lurk." Arya leaned closer, examining the intricate drawings that seemed to shimmer in response to the artifact's glow. "These must guide us to other sources of balance, possibly even allies. We must share this with the Council." Feeling the excitement building within him, Eldrin nodded eagerly. "This is not merely about protecting our village, it's about safeguarding the realm. We need to gather these artifacts to secure peace for all." As the path descended into the valley, Eldrin's thoughts raced with the possibilities that lay ahead. Each artifact could serve as a beacon of hope, a force to unite those who sought to protect the light. Upon reaching the village, an air of celebration enveloped them. The villagers had prepared a grand feast in honor of their triumph, laughter and cheers echoing through the air like a chorus of joy. Stepping into the village square, they were met with a wave of enthusiasm and warmth. "Welcome back, heroes!" a villager exclaimed, rushing forward to embrace them. "We bear great news," Boren shouted, raising the artifact high. "We have secured balance and learned of even greater threats lurking beyond." The crowd fell silent, eager to hear more. Eldrin stepped forward, clutching the tome and the artifact. "Our victory against the sorcerer was just the beginning. We now hold the key to protecting not just our village, but the entire realm. This artifact, and the knowledge within this tome, can guide us in our quest." A murmur of astonishment spread through the crowd. Eldrin shared the tales from the tome, the precious lessons of the past, and the map leading to other artifacts. He spoke of their journey through the Misty Mountains and the Guardian of Secrets, highlighting the need for unity and vigilance. As he spoke, the villagers' spirits ignited with inspiration. They felt a renewed sense of purpose, aware of the challenges that lay ahead, but eager to stand together against the encroaching darkness. Arya stepped forward, her voice steady. "If we band together, we can ensure the light keeps shining. We must spread the word and prepare ourselves for whatever is to come." Boren raised his mug high, eyes gleaming. "To the brave souls united in the light, together we will chase away the shadows." The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of camaraderie washing over them. Together, they began to prepare for the future, training, gathering supplies, and fortifying the village. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the villagers gathered around the warm glow of fires, sharing tales and laughter. Eldrin felt a swell of gratitude for the bonds they had forged. In the heart of the celebration, Eldrin glanced at the artifact, its glow steady and reassuring. He understood then that the journey ahead would be filled with trials, but they would face it together, armed with the strength of their unity and the wisdom of their past. The promise of adventure lingered in the air, a reminder that in the grand tapestry of life, each thread woven together created a vibrant picture of hope, courage, and resilience.
The celebration continued late into the night, and the village was alive with laughter, music, and the smell of roasted meat and sweet pastries. Eldrin, Arya, and Boren circulated through the crowd, sharing stories of their adventure and encouraging others to prepare for the journey that lay ahead. But amid the festivities, Eldrin couldn't shake a nagging feeling at the back of his mind. The stories within the tome had mentioned challenges tied not only to the artifacts, but also the choices that would define their paths. As the night wore on, he found a quiet spot away from the merriment, gazing into the star-filled sky. The artifact kept glowing softly in his pocket, a constant reminder of the weight of responsibility now resting on his shoulders. "Eldrin?" Arya's voice broke through his thoughts, and he turned to find her standing nearby. "What's on your mind?" He sighed, contemplating the words he wanted to share. "I keep thinking about the power of the artifact. We're tasked with protecting it, but what if it leads us down a path we don't fully understand?" Arya stepped closer, her expression serious. "It's true. Power can be a double-edged sword. We must be careful not to let it consume us, but we also can't shy away from using its potential to protect our home." Before Eldrin could respond, Borin joined them, wiping crumbs from his beard. "What's this? The great Eldrin is lost in thought while the party's raging on?" "It's not that," Eldrin replied, a hint of frustration creeping into his voice. "I just feel the weight of our choices. Each decision we make will ripple across the realm. We need to be wise." Borin placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Aye, but we also can't let the fear of choices paralyze us. We've faced greater darkness than this. We can trust our hearts to guide us. Besides," he added with a grin, "the best adventures come from taking a leap of faith." Eldrin chuckled despite himself. "I suppose you have a point, but how do we ensure we're making the right decisions?" "By staying true to our values," Arya replied. "We'll protect the light and each other. If we hold on to our friendship, we won't lose our way." With the warmth of their camaraderie surrounding him, Eldrin felt a surge of determination. "We have an opportunity to gather people and allies, to collect more artifacts, and to learn from those who might help. The map in the tome shows their locations. We must act swiftly." As they returned to the festivities, Eldrin gathered the villagers and shared his thoughts, proposing a plan. "We'll form teams to explore the known regions in search of other artifacts that can help maintain the balance. Each person can play a role, contributing to our mission." Cheers erupted from the villagers, each one eager to take part in the journey ahead. Eldrin felt the hope in their voices wash over him like a warm blanket. "Tomorrow we will set forth," he declared, raising his mug in a toast. "To strength, unity, and the choices that will shape our destiny." Their voices melded into a chorus of agreement, sealing the commitment that bound them in purpose. As the night fell deeper, Eldrin stood at the edges of the celebration, contemplating the choices that were yet to come. The journey to gather the artifact would not just test their physical strength, but also their resolve, their friendships, and their foundations of trust. In the days that followed, as they prepared for their next adventure, Eldrin felt the stirring of destiny pulling him towards something greater, a sense that each choice made would pave the way for a new legacy. They were ready to embrace the challenges that awaited them, but the shadow of uncertainty loomed, a reminder that the greatest tests often emerged from the depths of their hearts and the choices they made when confronted with darkness. The following morning was bright and clear as Eldrin, Arya, and Borin prepared to set forth on their new adventure. The village hummed with excitement as teams were formed and plans were meticulously laid out. Villagers gathered supplies, sharpened their tools, and exchanged eager whispers about the journey ahead. Before they left, Eldrin took a moment to stand before the Whispering Stone. The artifact thrummed softly in his pocket, as if urging him to listen. He placed a hand upon the stone's cool surface, feeling the pulse of magic and history beneath his fingertips. "Whispering Stone," he whispered, "guide us on our quest. Help us find the artifacts we seek and keep our hearts true." With a newfound resolve, he turned to Arya and Borin.
Are you ready? We'll head to the eastern edge of the Silverleaf Forest first. I believe the legends speak of an artifact hidden there. As they made their way into the forest, the trees welcomed them with gentle rustles, their leaves shimmering in the golden sunlight. Eldrin felt the familiar comfort of the woods, the whispers of nature intertwining with his thoughts. "Do you think the forest holds secrets we've yet to uncover?" Arya asked, her voice imbued with excitement. "There's so much magic here." "Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if the trees themselves held stories," Boren replied, looking around with a grin. "Let's hope they don't mind our company." As they ventured deeper, the atmosphere shifted subtly. Shadows danced between the trees, and the vibrant colors of the forest seemed to pulse with energy. Eldrin felt a connection forming between him and the land, the warmth of the artifact a constant reminder of their shared purpose. After a few hours of navigating winding paths and towering oaks, they approached a small clearing. In the center stood an ancient willow tree, its sprawling branches heavy with emerald leaves that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. "This must be the place," Eldrin murmured, captivated by the tree's presence. According to the legends, it's said to be a guardian of lost magic. "Looks like we'll need to do some digging," Boren joked as he approached the base of the tree, examining its roots. Before they could begin their search, a soft voice echoed from within the branches. "Seekers of truth, why have you come to my domain?" From the shadows of the willow emerged a small figure, a fairy, shimmering with iridescent wings that glowed in various hues. Her expression was wise, yet gentle, and she regarded them with curiosity. "We seek an artifact that embodies balance," Eldrin explained, stepping forward. "It's said to be hidden in this forest. We hope to protect it from darkness." The fairy's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Ah, the threads of fate weave strong with your bond. But to find what you seek, you must first listen to the whispers of the wind and the wisdom of the trees." Arya nudged Eldrin, urging him to ask, "How can we listen?" "Close your eyes and open your hearts," the fairy instructed, hovering close to the willow's trunk. "Let the forest's magic guide you. The answers you seek lie within the very essence of this land." Eldrin nodded, feeling a wave of calm wash over him. He closed his eyes, focused on the sounds around him, the rustle of leaves, the gentle chirping of birds, the distant trickling of a stream. Together with Arya and Boren, they took a deep breath, allowing the magic of the forest to wash over them. Suddenly, whispers filled the air, weaving stories through their minds. Visions of the past, the balance of light and shadow, memories of trial and triumph emerged like fragments of a dream. Eldrin could feel the presence of heroes who had come before them, guiding their hearts toward unity, strength, and friendship. After what felt like an eternity, the whispers faded, replaced by a sense of clarity and purpose. Eldrin opened his eyes, looking at his companions. "I think I understand," he said, exhilaration coursing through him. "The forest wants us to remember that true strength comes from unity and trust." With renewed determination, Eldrin turned back to the fairy. "What must we do to find the artifact?" The fairy smiled knowingly. "The willow holds the key. You must offer your intentions to the roots, your hopes, your dreams, and your resolve to protect the balance. Only then will it reveal its secrets." With conviction, Eldrin stepped closer to the tree, feeling a surge of energy. He knelt before the roots, placing his hands upon them. "I promise to protect the light and the balance," he vowed, pouring his whole heart into the oak. "We seek the artifact to ensure peace for our world." With Arya and Boren by his side, they echoed his sentiments,
their voices blending harmoniously as they promised to stand united against any darkness. As their intentions reached the heart of the tree, the earth began to tremble gently. A soft glow emanated from the roots, lighting up the clearing in radiant hues. The ancient willow responded, moving aside to reveal a hidden compartment beneath its embracing branches. Eldrin's breath hitched with anticipation. "It's here!" he exclaimed. A small, ornate chest emerged from the earth, shimmering with the same energy that pulsed from the artifact. Eldrin carefully opened the chest to reveal a radiant crystal, the next artifact in their quest. The fairy watched with a proud smile. "You have proven your worth, brave seekers. This crystal embodies the essence of balance. Use it wisely to unlock the power of harmony." With the crystal safely in Eldrin's possession, the trio felt a surge of hope. They had taken another step toward their goal, united by their purpose and strengthened by the wisdom of the land. As they prepared to continue their journey, Eldrin knew that their path would only grow more complicated from here. The bond they had forged with each adventure would guide them as they delved further into the challenge of protecting their realm, a legacy waiting to unfold before them.
Armed with the radiant crystal they had uncovered in the Silverleaf Forest, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren journeyed back to the village. The artifact, nestled safely within Eldrin's bag, pulsed in harmony with the one they discovered in the Misty Mountains, a testament to the balance they sought to restore. As they approached the village, an air of anticipation greeted them. The villagers had gathered in the square, eager to hear of their latest discovery and learn how they could continue supporting the quest. With the support of the village fueling them, Eldrin stood before the Whispering Stone, both artifacts in hand. He felt the combined energy coursing through his veins, a reminder that their bond and determination were the keys to unlocking the realm's protection. "We have secured another artifact," Eldrin announced, holding up the crystal, its light refracting in myriad colors. "And with it, we solidify our dedication to preserving the light." The villagers erupted in cheers, their excitement infectious. The bond within the community grew stronger. The desire to protect their home ignited like a flame that could never be extinguished. "But there is more work to be done," Arya added, her eyes scanning the crowd. "Darkness lingers in places unseen, and we must continue our journey to gather the remaining artifacts. Only then can we ensure that our realm remains safe." Boren stepped forward with a hearty laugh, his confidence unshakable. "We'll face whatever shadows cross our path and prove that light will always triumph. Together." The village elder approached, his expression filled with pride and wisdom. "Your courage inspires us all. The journey is long, but the strength of unity will guide you. We are behind you every step of the way." With determination bolstering their spirits, the villagers came together to strategize, each playing a role as they mapped the next steps in their quest. They would extend their reach to neighboring villages, sharing the tales of bravery and hope in the face of darkness. As the day stretched into evening, Eldrin, Arya, and Boren gathered once more by the Whispering Stone, preparing for the journey to the next location marked in the tome. Eldrin felt a surge of gratitude as he gazed at his companions. "Whatever we face, whether it's shadow or light, we'll do it together." Arya nodded, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, the legacy of our journey will not be the artifacts we find, but the bond we forge and the peace we achieve." Boren grinned, leaning back against the stone. "And the stories we'll share, of course. But first, let's get a good night's rest. Adventure awaits at dawn." That night, as the village settled into calm and quiet, Eldrin stood at the edge of the forest, the stars shining brightly above. He closed his eyes, letting the memories of their journey wash over him. The challenges faced, the fears overcome, the friendships strengthened. He understood now that their quest was about more than just gathering artifacts or battling shadows. It was about proving that hope, courage, and unity could illuminate even the darkest corners of the world, creating a legacy for future generations. When morning arrived, Eldrin awoke to the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft calling of birds. His heart swelled with resolve as he prepared to continue their journey. With the support of the villagers and the strength of his friends beside him, he knew they were ready to face whatever lay beyond the horizon. As they set out from the village, the path ahead felt brighter, filled with possibilities and the promise of adventure. Together, they would forge a legacy of light that would endure, their story becoming a beacon for all those who sought to protect the balance and cherish the unity of their world. And so, with every step taken, they carried the torch of hope, heartened by the knowledge that as long as they stood together, no darkness could ever overshadow their light.